And I'm back. Hi, my friends. So I just wanted to kind of pick right up where my last video left off. I wanted to talk about a friend of mine. She is such an awesome girl. She has been through, oh my goodness, so much. From the time she was a little girl, she has been through abuse multiple times. She's really struggled to find herself. She was born and raised a Jehovah's Witness. She felt lonely a lot. She's had to see a lot of things that a child shouldn't see, and has had to be silent when she shouldn't have to be. And yet somehow, through all of this, being alone and being weird and being odd, made fun of, bullied, all of those things, she has become this most amazingly strong woman. She's been through a very long marriage that ended badly. Has a kid that is really, really funny and really cool. She took care of a lot of things on her own, despite the fact of having a spouse that should have helped her. So, I think of her, I couldn't say a bad thing about her. She does a few things. Sure, she could be late a little bit, but I just don't have very many bad things I could say. Maybe you have a friend like that, or maybe you can kind of relate. Because I can. That's me. It took me a long time to realize that she is a pretty cool chick. It's hard to be your friend when we're told that we're not good enough. When we're raised that you need to be better and do better. That you're always needing to look at your faults, because that's what keeps you humble. When you're already a giving and loving person, I can see if you're a prideful person, you're somebody who has selfish tendencies, okay. But I'm guessing that the majority of the people watching this, and maybe a couple of people that are tearing up, because I tear up a little, I think you recognize that if you really looked at you, but you didn't see you as you, does that make sense? You looked in the mirror and you just took the fact away that you personally know that to be you. And you say to yourself, I personally know that person. And you recount all the things that you've seen firsthand that person has had to do. And had to go through, and had to think about, and had to become, in order to be right here, right now. If you really took a look at that person, you would be in awe. You would look at that person, you say, oh my goodness, how is that person even here still? Why can't we do that? Who taught us that we can't do that? Who taught us that we needed to be pieces of crap? That we can look at the best in everyone else, that we can see amazing qualities even in people that aren't very nice. We can still look at a nasty person and probably find good qualities in them, but we can't look at ourselves when we have been through everything that we've been through. And how can we not say that we are a great person? We have all done bad things. We've all done really terrible things. But I can guarantee you, there's somebody out there that probably has done worse. Good people even. Why can't we let that go? Why do we have to let that just control our lives? We just live in the past. That's not us. If you feel bad about it, if that's something that, whatever you did, I mean, I go back and I look at it and I think, wow, well, didn't kill anybody. I haven't committed any major felonies. I haven't done anything terrible. I might have bothered somebody or hurt someone's feelings, or, I could have done some serious things. It's not confession time for me right now. But I admit the things that I have done wrong, and I know that there's quite a bit. there could be someone out there that have done worse than me and I would have forgiven them. Why can't I forgive myself? And I guess that's my point, is we need to figure out how to be kind to ourselves. We deserve it. We really do. If you are a Jehovah's Witness, if you are an ex-Jehovah's Witness, if you even had even a Bible study, I mean, if you've had any mind control at all, any indoctrination at all, you will see, you will see that you really are focusing on being a sinner and guilted into a lot of things, whether it's by someone else's conscience or whatever the case may be. There's a lot of guilt, a lot of judgment, and certainly no love without conditions. So staying in the future is not good either, because it's kind of stressful. We don't really know what's going to happen, but that's the importance of being here in the now. We can look back at who we were, really think about it. I mean, if you're just going to sit here and critique the video, then I think you're here for the wrong reason. The reason why this video is here is because many of us are confused and concerned about the things that we're learning or the things that we're finding out, or our gut feeling that's telling us that something's wrong in this religion. And then what do? Well, we can bat our eyes and forget about it, or we can get mad, or we have lots of ways we can deal with it. But I prefer to understand it. I prefer to just grab it and hold on to it and know it and wrestle with it if I have to. Whatever the case is, I want to get to know whatever that problem is. And I am not willing to just forget about it. So when I see that these issues are coming up, things that I don't agree with, when I see, I mean, there's a brand new legal case that has just come out. I cannot remember the name of it because it was just released. The bulletin was just released today. But there is a woman who has just won a legal battle against the Watchtower organization, again, for pedophilia. It's prevalent. It's one of the main reasons why I stepped out of the religion. That was a huge contributing factor as to why I left. There's other reasons, of course. The lack of love is another big reason, but honestly, the pedophilia, it's in my own family, and I was forced to hide it, and it wasn't reported. And when you start realizing that that is happening close to 100% of the time, that's a weird pattern. You know, that's a pattern that should make anybody go, those kids are not safe. Something's wrong. Those kids aren't safe. Something's wrong. I wouldn't be here talking in front of this screen, scared to death, if it wasn't wrong. I wouldn't have left everything that I knew and was comfortable with, and my family and the ones that I love. I wouldn't have done that if it wasn't wrong. So I be brave, and I say it's wrong, and they aren't dealing with it. They are excusing it. And part of me feels bad for the elders, and part of me feels a little excited. I feel bad for the elders because they're getting the bad rap here. The Watchtower is saying that the elders are responsible for reporting the molestations and the child abuse to the local authorities if it is under the clergy, if it's not under the clergy confidentiality agreement, which most of the states aren't. Once it becomes secondhand knowledge, and it's no longer a confessional issue, then that is out the window and the obligation is there. I've done my research. Why wouldn't you want to lock up somebody who's molesting little kids anyways, even if they are sorry? That's the law. Why hide that? And why do it a lot? So, I be brave. And I say that the lack of love, the unconditional love, and the fact that our kids can't even be taken care of. The two-witness rule is bullcrap. No one is going to abuse a child in front of someone else. So it's a loophole that it's not nice to our children, and it really does put our children at the very bottom of the barrel. Because if you get a second witness, it's usually a repetitive offense, and that even can be not the case, because if one case is old and the other one's new, and there's any kind of span in between it, they might not connect the two because it's buried so quickly. Food for thought. I was there. This happened to me. Sorry, my nose is itchy today, and I don't really want to stop my video for it, but we'll get a tissue. So that's where we are as far as why I left in regards to the child molesting. We're talking about forgiveness now. That person that I talked about when I very first started, that's you. Most likely, I'm hoping that I could have described most any of us. If I said a girl, I'm sorry, you could put him in there, but really we've all been through so much. A lot of drama, a lot of trauma, a lot of pain, unnecessary, lack of love, bullying, lack of time, lack of purpose, lack of appreciation. And I'm actually frustrated that all of the contributions that I have ever given to the Watchtower Society in one swoop, when one of the brothers who was subpoenaed to show up in court in regards to one of these child abuse cases, they just didn't want to show up. One swoop. What was it? $10 million in punitive damages. I think I mentioned that on a previous video, but that's huge, you know. All of the contributions that I've ever given that I thought, were important was part of that $10 million that should have never been given out. There should have never been a child abuse case. Our children should be safe, and here they are not only having to pay out because of child abuse, but they are downright disregarding even showing up for the law that they so apparently hold us responsible to as the secular authorities put here by God, but they aren't answering to them. They just don't show up because it's inconvenient or because it makes them look bad. Hey, it's public knowledge. You don't protect your children. You do cover up pedophilia. It's not a religion that I can accept as my own, because it's a fact, and they're losing millions of dollars each case. They're selling off big corporate buildings to keep up with all of these quiet cases that are going down on a regular basis. There's news, there's blogs, there's archives, there's Royal Commissioner's reports. It doesn't have to be from apostate resources, whatever you want to call that. It can be from legit sources. So if you want to know, it's there. It's hard to know. But I just can't be a doofus anymore and go knocking on people's doors and asking for them to come and be a part of a religion where them and their children are going to be part of, and their children won't be protected, and if they decide that they don't want to believe it, they lose all contact with their family and friends. It's heartbreaking. I haven't even had a judicial committee yet. I've decided just to go ahead and post these online because really it doesn't matter. Once you realize that these people, these men, are really not inspired of God, that they really are just controlling people and making a lot of money in real estate investments. Once you do realize that, then you start thinking that there's a bigger life out there. It's easy to get down, and I have been down.